Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today going to be doing my NBA Finals preview. Really excited for this one. I know not the biggest names in the way of the teams, and there's been a lot of talk about ratings and stuff that doesn't actually matter to this finals. Excited to get into this one. Starts tomorrow, getting this video done right in time, and we're back on the Google Slides. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I created a playlist for the off-season preview videos if you want to go check those out. I'm doing as many teams as possible before the draft. I've already done the Suns, Mavericks, and Lakers if you want to go check those out. If you're a fan of those teams, just fan of the NBA or the drama in general. So let's get into this one. Starting off with the Indiana Pacers. So these are the stats here, playoff ranks. Again, I'm going to have this up while I yap. Second in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating. But the three stats that I picked that are, indicative of what this team is. Number one in assist percentage, which is the percentage of their shots that are assisted. Assisted turnover, 2.21 across the entire team, that is first. And effective field goal percentage, 57.6, which is first. This is an elite offense. They move the ball a lot. They run. I didn't put fast break points. They actually weren't that high on the fast break points, which is interesting. I don't know why, but this is a team that gets out and they run. And not only do they run in the fast break, because I think a lot of people think of running and off a missed shot or off a turnover, but it's even off made baskets. They are pushing, and their offense is about that first advantage, right? Everybody on the court usually can do something with the ball in their hands, even if it's like Nesmith or Toppin. They can't really do too much. And it's just really difficult. And we saw New York, man. They had some games where their defense showed up, but for the most part, their defense was hapless guarding this Indiana Pacers offense, and I really liked what the Pacers did offensively. And, they're not perfect offensively. They're going to have their stretches where they're a little bit struggle bus. And when they when they get slowed down, they can struggle offensively, but they're awesome, and they're awesome at not turning the ball over. Forgot to put this up here, but I think they were number one in the playoffs in least amount of turnovers per game. Of course, we'll get to Tyrese Halliburton, but offensively, it's great. Now, defensively, they're ninth, which isn't bad. There's 16 teams, about average for the playoff field, and if you filter out, but if you do filter out some of those uncompetitive first-round series, defensively, I think they're solid. Like they can hold their own. I thought that Andrew Nembhard did a phenomenal job when Rick Carlisle made that switch to go from him on Brunson to him from Nesmith on Brunson to then Nembhard on Brunson. I thought it was a great switch. He did an amazing job in that game 6. But their defense can be a little iffy. Specifically, I think Miles Turner. I really like him offensively. Defensively, he can be a little shaky. And they're not the biggest team. And they're not the longest team. So they can sometimes struggle a little bit, but I think offensively, this is going to be a sensational chess match. We'll get to that to my keys, where I really talk about each team. So moving on now to the key players. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton. He's had an amazing run. Do I think he's top 10? I'm not sure, but his passing is amazing. It's not just his passing, because 10 assists per game is great, but it's the little amount of turnovers. He's just so efficient with his passing. Now, his shot's been a little off. It's been up and down. And I do think as a scorer, he's very inconsistent, right? He'll have games where he'll score 30. He'll have games where he'll score 8. And the games where he scores 8, they can sometimes lose. Or they'll lose a lot of them. But I think in this series, Halliburton is going to have to score. And he's going to have to limit turnovers. Because when we get to OKC, they're the best team I've ever seen at causing turnovers and getting out and running in a different way than Indiana. But I think Tyrese has had a sensational run. He has locked himself in as a minimum top 15 guy. So, love him. Spicy P. I could wax poetic about my man Spicy P. I love Siakam. So good, so reliable, so consistent. Just does everything well. Right? 21 points per game here, 6 rebounds, a steal, 61% true shooting, 46% from 3. Just gets to the free throw line. He just does everything. And he's been, when the Pacers need a bucket in the half court, like obviously it's Halliburton, but if they need just a bucket, like need someone to just get a bucket. It's been Pascal Siakam. This dude who's won a champion. He's a champion. He's won a championship, has finals experience, won most improved. He's just been a consistently all-star to near all-star his entire career, pretty much, outside of his first couple. So, love what he does. Andrew Nembhard. Now, this guy is a hilarious individual. Shot 29% from 3 in the regular season. Has shot 48% from 3 in the postseason. I don't know. He's got a gimmick going, but it's okay. I think that Nembhard's defense has been the most impressive thing to me. What he did on Jalen Brunson was sensational. The way that he was able to just get so physical and have so much aggression defensively, it took Brunson out of that game. And I know it was just one game, but I mean, dude, it was the most pivotal game of the series, and he took him out of it. Love Andrew Nembhard, and I think his offense as well is going to be very important, right? They need the entire team to be locked in offensively. It can't just be Hallie and Siakam. It's got to be the rest, because that's how this team is built. And then finally, Aaron Nesmith. He's been amazing. 14 points per game, 67% true shooting, 50% from 3. Had that game 1 in New York that will never be forgotten, but his defense, obviously, they took him off Brunson. I think the reason they went to Nembhard's a little bit more stocky, a little bit more built, where he can get under Brunson. But Nesmith was also dealing with the ankle injury, so I wonder if that played a part in it. But he's also going to be incredibly important guarding Shea, because I do think, and we're seeing this in the NBA, like Shea, Luka, like these big guards, you don't want to put a wing on them, because Shea is just too quick for most wings. He's going to blow by him too easily. Like Luka, he's bigger and stronger than these like kind of long wings. Like Jay McDaniels got his face fried off by Shea. But like Shea, Christian Brown gave him some stuff. Like he's still got his, but Christian Brown made it difficult. And I think Nembhard and Nesmith as a tandem are going to have to be able to do that to Shea if they want to have a chance of winning this series. That's the Pacers. We'll get into the keys where we kind of go over each team compared. Next is the Thunder. I mean, they're sensational. Third in offense, first in defense, first in net rating by a mile, number 1 in steals by a mile, number 1 in points off turnovers by a mile, and number 1 in fast break points. I mean, they're just an incredible defense. They're just incredible. And they have one of the most unique defenses, because there's been plenty of elite defenses. What they do that's so special is they go on these runs off their defense. And we've seen teams that go in, like 2017 Warriors, and really the Warriors in general during their heyday. But there is no team I've ever seen like OKC that has those like 20-4 runs on their defense. Like it's steal, pass deflection into another steal, and it's a bucket at the rim. It's insane. They're just so good on that defensive end, and you see the net rating at the bottom of the screen here. I got a little screen grab of some data, and this is the one thing I will say: the Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren duo, when they have been on the court in this postseason, they only have a 4.2 net rating. Now, if we want to go back here, that is better than the Indiana Pacers net rating. But for a team that is so dominant as OKC, I have not loved those two big lineups. And I think against Indiana, it's not going to be something they want to go to. I think Indiana, their speed is their advantage. For OKC, their defensive speed is their advantage. That's how this matchup is just going to be so fun, because that offensive versus defensive speed. But if you put a Hartenstein out there, all of a sudden now, and you might be like, well, that makes sense, right? I mean, Hartenstein's on Miles Turner and Chet is on Siakam. But having Hartenstein on the court gives Tyrese an in. It gives that whole offense an in. And when they're running up and down the court, Hartenstein's going to be a little sluggish, right? Whereas if you go to the 4 guards, they're going to be much quicker. OKC's amazing defensively and offensively, right? They've been, they're not the best offense ever, but they're still really good. I do find it interesting here, like if we go looking at these offensive ratings, that's supposed to say 117.7. Sorry, y'all, that is a little snafu on my part with the old slideshow, but it's just interesting. Like last year, the Pacers, I think in the regular season had like 125 offensive rating. Like we see in these playoffs, just interesting. But obviously, the role players for OKC, their offense, because I'm confident in Shea. Let's go to the key players. First one is Shea. Um, Shai's a tough player to talk about because I think some of the stuff with him has gone too far with the foul baiting and the flopping. Like, he does a lot of it. He's one of the premier floppers, but you look at the premier floppers, and it's most of the best players in the world. Like, even Jokic, right? Outside of Giannis, and he still gets the most free throws at anybody. All the top guys flop. But he's amazing. His change of pace, his change of direction, his scoring, his consistency, so elite. Putting up 36 and 7, nearly 2 steals. His three-point shot's been really off this postseason. The Thunder as a team have not shot the three ball well, and we'll get to that in the keys. That's a big point for me, but he's been sensational, and I think when he's playing well, you don't beat OKC. Straight up. You're not beating him 4 times in 7 games. Even if he doesn't play well for like half the series, like against Denver, you still lose. J-Dub, I'm not the biggest J-Dub truther. Not gonna lie. I like him. I think he's good. I think he gets a little bit overrated, but he's really good. He's an elite defender, just an elite defender. He's a solid offensive player. I don't think he's a incredible offensive player, but 20 points, 54% true shooting. His three-point shot's been off, but his passing's been really impressive in this postseason, and of course his defense. He is one of the architects of this OKC defense. Then you got Chet Holmgren. I think he's going to play a mostly center in this series. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Hartenstein. His defense is great. I mean, I feel like everybody for the Thunder is just like, yeah, they're pretty good offensively, and then defensively they're just sensational. It's no shock that they're the best defense in the NBA, but the three-point shooting for him can fluctuate, but he's really good. And then Alex Caruso. A guy I wanted the Mavs to trade for during the offseason, I was like, I would love Caruso. And just talk about a role guy stepping up in this postseason. 9 points per game, 2 steals, shooting 42% from 3. He has been incredible. I mean, guarding Jokic, literally guarding 1 through 5, he's an incredible defender. He is one of the reasons that this team goes on those defensive runs. A lot of it's because of Caruso. And in a matchup like this, where it's all about perimeter speed, it's all about ball handling and player movement, and ball movement, he is going to be so important for the success of their defense. By the way, I saw that they list Jalen Williams at 6'5". What? But yeah, man, Caruso's amazing. I can't wait to see what he does, just wreaking havoc on the offense. Let's now get into the keys to the series. My first one, how do the Pacers react to this OKC ball pressure? It is OKC superpower. They have a superpower unlike any I've ever seen. If you look at like last year, the Timberwolves and their elite defense, what made their defense so elite? It was their size. It was just the rim protection and size. That's usually what we've seen throughout NBA history. Like, the best defenses of all time have all been like these big physical rim protection teams. And like, they have Chet Holmgren, and he's an elite rim protector, 2 blocks per game. But it's their ball pressure. And it's down the roster. It's Cason Wallace. It's J-Dub. It's obviously Caruso. It's just all this ball pressure. It's Lou Dort. It's all this ball pressure. How do the Pacers react? Because we've seen teams just collapse. Pacers don't turn the ball over. So, I don't know, right? It's a massive point. J-Dub and Chet. J-Dub, I said before the playoffs that if Jalen Williams, or if the Thunder lost in the Western Conference, this is before Boston lost, I said if OKC loses in the West, J-Dub will be on a new team next season. They won the West. Him and Chet offensively, I think it's going to be pretty important because Shai is incredible, but Shai is not Jokic or Luka. He's not someone who is going to consistently create all these open looks and make all those passes. He's someone who can generate a lot of advantages, but he's not those guys. And a lot of it's going to be on J-Dub and Chet to finish offensive possessions and make sure that this OKC offense does not get bogged down, because we've seen it. Saw it against the Mavs, saw it against the Nuggets in times. We've seen it. When they lose, when they struggle, it is because of these two guys specifically offensively. So it's going to be majorly important. Tyrese Halliburton, I don't think they can afford the 8-point games from him. I just don't think that it's going to work. If he scores 8 points in a game, they're going to get popped by 50. They need him to be consistently aggressive and looking to get his own shot. Doesn't mean he needs to be forcing up bad shots. He's got to impose his will offensively. It can't just be the passing. He's got to score. OKC is too good of a defense for that to work. So his scoring output next, those first 2 games in OKC. I think the Pacers have to win one of those 2. They cannot afford to lose those first 2 in OKC, because if they do, it's over quickly. If they win one, that's how you can start pushing this series out into the later. And we've seen with this Pacers team, people talk about the devil magic and the way they can just rip victory from the jaws of defeat. You steal a game early, you have a chance, right? So it's going to be really important. And then finally, probably should have put this higher, but it's the Thunder role player 3-point shooting. Thunder have not shot the 3-ball well at all in these playoffs. Specifically the role guys. Lou Dort has really struggled. Aaron Wiggins has really struggled. Chet has struggled to shoot. Caruso's been good, but even Shea and J-Dub have struggled to shoot. When OKC's offense collapses, it's because those role guys are not hitting shots. They need those role guys to hit shots if they want to win this series. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. I don't know. There's not much else to explain. They just got to make their 3-point shots. They generate a bunch of good looks, a lot of wide open threes. They gotta hit them. Even though you might be like, oh, it doesn't matter. They'll get those runs defensively, and they'll do that. It's like, dude, this Pacers team has forces beyond the physical realm. They have the basketball gods smile upon the Pacers, so they got to shoot well. Specifically those role guys. Into my final prediction. Now, almost everybody's picking this series to be 4 or 5, and the sports books, OKC's minus 700, or I think I saw 750 earlier today, which is incredible. People are giving the Pacers a chance. Do I agree with them? A little bit. I have Thunder in 6. Now, I do think the Pacers are going to get 2 games. And I think this series might be 2-2 going into Game 5, which would be pretty incredible. My reasoning for 6, and it's a 6 leaning 5, meaning, when I say 6 leaning 5, I think it's going to be more of an uncompetitive 6. Like, how do I explain this? We're going to look back and be like, well, it was a 6-game series, but it wasn't really that close. Right, like it went 6, but it was like 4 blowout OKC wins, and then 2 Pacers just kind of barely won. I think that the Thunder are much better defensively. They're deeper. They're better. They have easily the best player on the court. But I do think the Pacers have a pathway. And the Pacers' pathway is this. They are able to really bog down OKC's offense. Shea has an inefficient series, and he's not really making the right reads. J-Dub is having a disaster class. And the role players are not ready for the moment. I think in that scenario, that's where you can start thinking, like, this series could really be, like, close. What I think's going to happen, I do think the Pacers will have success offensively. I think they will have success, but the problem is, I don't think they're going to be able to really defend OKC. They defended New York pretty well, but dude, Shea's a different level than Jalen Brunson. He's just a different level of player. And I also think, while I think their offense is going to have success, I don't think it's going to be continuous. I think they're going to have stretches where they struggle. And in those stretches, I just think OKC's too good, man. they're battle tested now. They had that series against Denver. I got Thunder in 6. That's gonna do it for this video. In the comment section, drop your prediction. Yell at me for being wrong. I'm sure the Pacers will win in 5 somehow because of, again, Devil Magic. But like, comment, and subscribe. Trying to grow this channel. Trying to build a community. I know it's cliche, but thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.